My name is Alexis Russo, and I'd like to inform you on how much time children spend in daycare. These are my 3 audience members. And here are my 2 note cards. So parents always want what's best for the children, and they have to go to work to provide for their families, which often leaves the children in daycare. But do you know how much time the children really spend in daycare every day? So I'd like you to raise your hand if you have children, and now keep your hand raised if your children are in daycare while you're at work. Daycare is a great place for children to learn and grow and socialize and meet new friends and experience new things, and it's also much better than them being at home playing video games or sitting on a couch watching movies all day. So I've been in childcare for many years, and I actually started at an elementary school where the children would come straight from their afternoon class to our program. So they get up around 7 in the morning to go to school, and they stay there until about 6 at night. And I now work for a big, well-known oil company, and I'm a 2-year-old teacher. And I'm there roughly 45 hours a week, and most of my children are there even longer than that. I get there about 8 in the morning, and all of my children are there, and when I leave at 5:30, most of my children are still there. So a study was done at Princeton University that showed children under 5 are at daycare for an average of 40 hours. And for my daycare, when we have holiday parties like Christmas parties or Valentine parties, the children are usually there even longer because they still come early in the morning, and then their parents come during their workday or after work, and they stay to socialize with other parents. So even though they're there in the classroom, they're not getting that quality time with the child that they need. And for my company, most parents get every other Friday off, and so since they miss a day, they have to spend more hours at work the beginning of the week to make up for that. And their children are at daycare those hours, and on the Friday the parents are off, the children are still at daycare because the parents use those hours to go hang out with friends or get stuff done around the house. And parents miss out on a lot of things while their child's at daycare. So for me, being a 2-year-old teacher, I do a lot of the potty training, and even though the parents help a lot at home, it's still not the same because they spend most of their time at school, so I get most of the potty training done. And for the younger children, like the infants, parents a lot of times miss the first time they roll over, or the first time they take a few steps or even start running, or even sometimes the first time they say mommy or daddy, which is a big deal to a lot of parents, and they don't like missing out on that. Teachers and daycares usually do just about everything parents do, just with a full classroom instead of 1 or 2 children. And a study done in 2008 showed that 78% of teachers at some point experienced burnout because they were so stressed out and tired and exhausted from the long, busy work days that they have. And it's also no help when you don't have much parent interaction, especially when you have a child who isn't doing well in school or isn't playing well with others. You want to try and explain to the parent that the child doesn't do well at school and what they could do at home to help, or maybe they just need more time with mom and dad, and that's why they act out at school. But a lot of parents aren't willing to even listen to that, so it makes it harder when you can't find a way to get help for that child. Another complaint was that they don't get paid enough money because they feel that they do everything a parent does, so they feel that they should make more than what they actually do. So there's 160 hours in a week, and if the children are spending 40 of those hours in daycare, that's 40 hours they're not with their parents, obviously, and then you add the roughly 10 hours of sleep at night, so that's 70 hours a week sleeping, plus the 40 in daycare, is 110 hours that they're not with their parents. So that leaves 58 possible hours for the much needed quality time. But then you take into consideration things like the car ride from the house to the daycare, which in the morning the children have to get up so early, almost every single time they fall right asleep when they get into the car. And so there's no quality time with the parent there. And then from the drive from daycare to home, it could be the same thing, especially stuck in traffic. A lot of the kids fall asleep, or they could be playing on a tablet or some other kind of electronic device, so it's still not the quality time that they need with their parents. By the time they get home, it's time to take a bath and eat dinner and go to sleep, and then wake up the next morning and do it all over again. And a lot of time on the weekends, since it's the parents' days off, they want to do other things. They have their free time, they go hang out with friends and do other things that they can't do during the week because they're working. And a lot of times that leaves the child at home with a babysitter or other family members. And granted, most of the time it's late at night, so the parents really only miss out on, just the dinner and bedtime like usual. But it's still one more night that the child doesn't get that bedtime story from mom or dad, or that extra hug and kiss from mom and dad. And Dr. Stanley Greensberg does a lot of studies on children in daycare settings. And he actually opposes daycare because he says too much time is being spent caring for the child outside of the home rather than inside of the home where it's really needed. And the kids really need that one-on-one interaction, not just with adults, but mostly with their parents. And parents are so busy working that they don't realize how much of this time that they really miss out on. Because they wake up and they take their child to school, then they go to work, and they're so busy at work that the day goes by fairly fast. Then you pick up your child and it's time to go home, stuck in traffic for a while. And then you get home and it's dinner, bed, and start again the next day. So with the week going by so fast, you don't realize how much of that quality time you really miss out on. So my challenge for you is, if you have children in daycare, to calculate how much time they really spend in daycare each week versus how much time they spend with you. Thank you.